Hello, everybody. Today, I am very excited to announce that we are interviewing another candidate called Edwin Alonzo. Now, Edwin Alonzo has a lot of community service behind him, and also he has experience and he is a veteran. And today, we're going to talk about issues regarding veterans and their voting habits and what can we do as a country to include them in the Democratic Party and not leave them behind through the state of California, and perhaps how can we instill more programs and more education towards these programs. Now, Edwin Alonzo is running for the 23rd district of California, and he's running for Congress, and I'm very excited to show you this interview. All right. Well, hello, Edwin. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. And first off, I've been seeing you at a lot of events, and I know that you're running for Congress. Could you tell me a little bit about your background, why you're running for Congress, and a little bit about who you are?
Sure. Yeah. So I'm running for Congress here in the 23rd district. So that's I live in Victorville, and it's the biggest city in the district, and it stretches from almost Palm Springs to almost Palmdale, and then it goes from about the 210 to the border. And it's extended a little south with the new redistricting. Um, it's a R plus 14, so the Republicans got a good advantage. But I think really that's because of the most people, a lot of people in our district don't vote. Um, but so I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I've worked in environmental for 20 years. I was a union steward for many years, and I've worked with the union for a lot of years. Just being out there, and that's how I started my, I guess, political career. Is getting out there and speaking at city councils, negotiating contracts with, with the people in charge, and that got me started. I mean, I've always done community service my whole life, but that's really where I got started down this road, and I got motivated to run because of I think what's happening with the whole immigration thing. I think that's a good clear violation of the Fourth Amendment, and there's been a lot of other things and violations of the First Amendment, violations of a lot of there's a lot there going out there. And so as a veteran, someone who swore that oath, I feel it's still my duty to stand up. It hasn't ended. It's my catchphrase is from the Marine Corps to Congress. And that's my goal is to get out there and represent my district and the people that live here fairly, and get resources that we need. My main goal is to get I want to get a military hospital up here. um, we have a lot of bases, a lot of military personnel, a lot of veterans, and with a full hospital would come a trauma center, which we desperately need up here, which would really change the what it takes to get somebody to healthcare when they're in a situation like that. You know, versus flying them down the hill down to Loma Linda or to Ontario versus 20 minutes the other way to Barstow. There's less danger going down that wind, less danger with the hill and the mountain and everything like that. And I think it's something that would service the whole community, and people like me, veterans and military personnel, because we have a lot. Our district has the most amount in the entire country.
Wow. I did not know that about our district having the most amount of veterans. And what you said about hospitals, I really agree. Did you see that there was talk about actually closing some hospitals up in the district because of a lack of funding?
Yeah, the Arrowhead, and they talked about the with Victorville, and then the one I think there's one in Barstow, and then also the one in Apple Valley is in danger as well. So, and it's crazy because the Arrowhead one, they're union and we helped them get their contract. So I'm kind of invested in that one, and of course the my closest hospital is Victorville. So that's another thing is, of course, to return that funding, to switch, turn around a lot of that craziness that's happened, that money grab that's been going on in with the Republicans.
Yeah. And so, alongside with everything that you've said, first off, I want to thank you for your service. And what did being in the military, I guess, how did that impact you and show you a need? Did it impact you in a way that it showed you that you needed to run?
Um, yeah, I mean, it really impacted my life. I mean, my wife talks about it because she was with me when I was in the Marine Corps, and my mom talks about the difference between before and after. And I picked up a lot of discipline. And I think I feel like I picked up a lot of like sense of responsibility for those around me. And so I've always kind of geared towards that. I've been a coach for a lot of teams with my kids. I've been involved in the schools as a school site president for the parents council and everything like that. And I've always get involved and I show up to events and I do all those things because I feel that it takes a village to raise a child, and it's our duty as adults to look out for the next generation. Um, I think the boomers forgot that, so we got to pick that up and for the next generation and kind of show them the example, kind of that whole what Mr. Rogers taught us thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, I love him. And I guess my next question is, have you always been this progressive? Because what I've recently seen is specifically with veterans, that's one of the things I really want to focus on today, is because there's a lot about today with veterans and even moving in state troops from, for example, Texas to Chicago,
Mm.
and there's more militarization. And I want to understand perhaps why is there a culture of more conservatism in the military? Because for example, in the 2024 election, 65% out of all veterans voted for Trump, 39 voted for Kamala, and the rest didn't vote or voted for somebody else.
Mm.
And in the US, there's around 17 million veterans, which is practically the size of New York State.
Yeah.
And that's a large amount of voters. And they really serve our country. But I want to understand maybe why there's a trend of conservatism within veterans in the military.
So I think veterans aren't too different from any other voter. I think we tend to be like one issue voters, um, and you see more of that football kind of rah stuff from the Republican side, flag waving, more pro military thing, and so that's a big draw because you don't when you don't see it immediately, like it's not affecting you, it's hard to feel that your rights are being eroded. You know, it's difficult to get somebody to understand the Glass-Steagall Act and what that impact did to our economy and our rights and our society versus someone who genuinely, you know, likes having a weapon and believes that it's their duty to protect their community and protect their family, and that I can tell you from my personal feelings, having that piece of metal in my hands feels very secure. Um, I feel like I can do something for my family at the very end of whatever societal breakdown or whatever it is. And so that's security, and so they gear towards that. And you hear more towards pro military, but the money doesn't go towards veterans. And I think they don't see that. I think they don't see the where the money is actually going, where the messaging is really happening, where the promises are not, coming true. Who really is fighting things like preconditions for things like burn pits? You know how hard that fight was for us to get those preconditions for people to get treatment for cancer, for those burn pits and those porta johns and stuff like that. Um, and and so that message gets lost. And I think that it's really, again, it's people forget what you say, but they remember how you feel. And so when they see the flag waving, when they see this "thank you for your service" stuff, it makes, if that feels better than a lot of big words about stuff that is hard to understand. Um, and I think that's the big thing, is the messaging. And I think the Republicans are honestly helping. The Medicare, the taking away, they're seeing where the money is being taken. And we're gonna see a lot of that in our services that we get.
Do you think that there are ways that, first off, are you running as a Democrat?
Yes, I'm a Democrat. I've always voted Democrat. It's not because of party loyalty, but it's it has to do with I vote on issues, and generally I lean left, and I super left. And again, Mr. Rogers, that whole thing.
Yeah. And I guess, what do you think that the Democratic Party can do to be more welcoming to veterans in general?
You got to understand that most of us are still raising children. A lot of us that came out of the global war on terrorism, um, we're raising children. I have children. They're coming into their teens, and so their concerns are jobs, um, where their dollar is going to be stretched, the services they can get, and housing. That's big. Housing's big, and yeah, that's huge, and it's got to really manifest. And no more of these promises. It's got to really hit the pocket. Um, got to direct some of that DoD money to the VA, is my opinion, to get
Yeah.
the veterans benefits, to get them health care. Because we have really dedicated medical personnel, we have really good systems, we have a lot of programs that are available for the things that we need. There's just not funding for it. And if I need to go be seen for something that's service connected, like my knee, it could take a while. Um, and they have everything they need there to help me when I'm having an issue with it. Um, but they don't have enough personnel, or it's a contractor, and the services aren't really good because they're not paid that much. They're paid the contract rate. So their effort isn't really behind it. We need VA personnel. We need to hire Americans to work in the VA. All of those nurses that we educated and got ready during COVID, that's where we can put them. We need them, and we can build hospitals. We can build facilities that can be more than just for veterans, but they can serve a community too.
Exactly. And my next question is, so far, things such as the Veterans Affair programs for mortgage have been targeted. Funding for the DEI within the Veterans Affairs have been targeted. Healthcare, EBT, job loss, and disability benefits. Do you think, as a whole, veterans are maybe changing their opinions and embracing more progressive mindsets?
I
Or
think so. Yeah, for sure. I think the mindsets do definitely shifted. You're seeing the thing is that we're generally quiet. Um, we yeah, there is. What would you say? It was like 50 something percent was they vote Republican.
65?
65. Okay, that's still 45%, or sorry, 35% to vote Democrat, and a good chunk that does not vote at all. Um, and I think that's the big problem, is we can't get people to come out. And I think they're seeing it, and you're seeing it in a lot of trends with you're seeing a lot of veterans step out and run for office, and they're running as Democrats. They're not running as Republicans. And they see that because that's who's that's that's who I see the opportunity through the Democratic Party. Even though I don't agree with everything that's going on, especially with a lot of the corporate stuff and a lot of where some of that foreign money comes from. But you know, this is the route. Universal health care, good income, universal income for workers. This is what's going to help us. Good wages, good health care, child care, secure future for raising our children, and that's what we're looking for. It's stability. It's a future. It's climate change is involved in that, but it's hard to understand for some people. But it's part of that because we don't want to be paying exorbitant amount of money for water or some basic needs, um, things like that. So I think that's the route. That's the way. It's resources. It's jobs. It's providing those things that they need to live their lives the way they want to.
And would you say in the past has California tried to help its veterans more than most states, or has there been a trend of not helping?
Hmm. Okay. It feels like every year or so I discover some benefit that I didn't know existed in California, like specific under California. And I think that has to do with advertising, with getting the message out there, with creating um, I guess a way to access those resources and make them more accessible. So yeah, California has a lot of resources for veterans. It's just hard to get to them. It just feels that way. Or it's hard to understand exactly what they mean. Like they advertise I've been seeing on Instagram, because a lot of times where I see my ads is car insurance for veterans, discounted car insurance. I haven't signed up because I don't know what it is yet. And it just seems too good to be true. So I'd like some trusted source I can go to and go, hey, what's up? And they can go, yeah, this is how I'll sign you up. Like some of our resources, like the DAV, which I'm a member of, which is Disabled American Veterans, and AMVETS and stuff like that. And they do a good job. But again, their resources are again limited. Their staff is super limited. So it's really about just about about getting the information out there and funding those resources and making sure that it's available. I think right now, I think there's going to be a big need for almost direct funds, and I took advantage of that through the Voc Rehab program, um, and where I was able to take a loan out and at a good rate and everything like that. And I think that's going to be needed. But the thing is that when I did it, I remember they were talking about we don't know when you're going to get it because we don't know when the funds are going to become available from the government. So I think that's the two side. I guess the two sides to it is one make advertise it and the other is fund it more.
Yeah, I
Um,
feel education is really big. I was talking to a woman last week, and her friend died from cancer, and she never took out medical insurance because she did not know that it was available to her. And there's all of these programs, specifically in California. We are one of the states with the most programs,
yeah.
and they're unaccessible because of a lack of education, but also a lack of transparency. As you said, there's a lot of programs that seem a little bit dodgy, and the funding isn't always direct. We have a huge funding issue. How do you see yourself being able to implement a way to educate your constituents better on all of these programs that are available for them?
I think we need to create um, or fund resources either within the cities and the communities that kind of coach people through those programs, like a community center kind of thing where they could, I need to sign up for SNAP, or I know at colleges they have staff that helps you with FAFSA, but again, they're understaffed and the appointments can be long, and by the time you get it and the process to I know that process to get your funds, you could miss your dates if they don't have enough people available because it could be confusing, especially for a lot of people who don't have their parents. You have a lot of foster kids. You're gonna have a lot of kids that parents got deported, and now they don't have a way to prove that they don't have the income to apply for fast for grants. And so we need to create that availability, especially in our district. And I love the work that Victor Valley College is creating, and I'd love to add, pull some funding in there. And again, for all those same resources for veterans as well, get the resources out there so that they're able to use them, utilize them.
Yeah, well, I really love all of your answers, and the money is there. The programs are there. They just need to be made available.
Yeah.
On this last question, I want to focus more on you. How can people get involved in your campaign? How can they help you out? Do you have a website? Do you have an Instagram page? And how can people really contribute to your campaign?
Yeah, I got my Instagram is Edwin Alonzo CA23. My website is Edwin Alonzo for Congress CA23.com. Get the word out. I'd love people to check out my website, share it, just spread the message out. So as many people can get a hold of me as they can. Send me your email, send me your contact list, so that I can utilize those volunteers that want to help, because there's so many things that we can do, and I have events that I want to do, and I'm planning on, and I'm working. And hopefully, I can pull off this event I'm trying to get is to get free haircuts for kids. And I'm so, but I'll send a message out when I do that. So I hope they follow me on Instagram. Again, it's Edwin Alonzo CA23. And so when I get that send that word out, and people can show up or help fund some of those haircuts for those kids. We'd love that. And so, yeah, that's it. I like to do things that help the community.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being part of the podcast, and it was amazing to hear what you had to say. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. And good luck to you too, sir.